Wait a minute. Oh, that's hair. It's my extra hair. Didn't mean for you to see that. Look at it now. I'm a real YTer. I've got like the background with my interests showing. Although, don't ask me when the last time I read either of those was, because this was just blue, but now I'm bathed in light. My camera's strange, and I think that's it was just blue. Anyways, oh, there's more spots on my screen that are discolored. They're kind of like a yellow right now. This phone's time is coming to an end. But you know, I guess it's part of what makes me cool, huh? It's the topic, being cool. You know, my phone's always cracked. You know, sometimes I'll have to wrap some tape around it to keep the screen from like getting loose. That's just part of the aesthetic, you know. Fuck it. It's awesome. So I guess the way I should start is by going over what being cool means. It means, be cool, Scooby-Doo. I'm thinking about that. But they're building a castle outside. Sorry about the noise. I don't really care. Part of the aesthetic, you know? Because sometimes you do have a conversation in this background noise. So now it's like this. I don't need to use background music. Okay. Thinking about that. I don't even like doing any. I guess it was a thing that like other YouTubers did. So then I did it. But like the more I go on, I don't really need it. Silence can just be, you know. Springtime, a little sick, or allergies, whatever. What's it say? Being cool, yeah. Well, when I was a young boy, being cool was about coolest shit ever. You know, that Duncan guy from Total Drama, the Generator Rex, the Ben 10. Just guys who beat the shit out of stuff, and having big spiky hair was also pretty cool. But I think I kind of got that down right now. And what else? Not caring. You just gotta not care. And I think that's like sort of the big, stay cool under pressure. You're not getting heated. So I guess that's sort of what it means. And am I the type to stay cool? Yeah, as well. Yes. I'm not the type to explode with anger. I'll bottle it up. Whether or not that's healthy, it's not for you to decide. You saw my lips fixing to say. I don't do that anymore. That's not cool. Yeah. Well, I guess I should talk about the physical, because this is kind of one of the most important things that prevents me from being cool. Is that, well, I'm not. Thankfully, I'm not like super short, but I'm not tall either. Like I'm 5'8", I think, and that's enough. That's decent size. So I've got that going for me. But my voice, yes, I could never be. Oh yeah, I have to point it out. I don't know if I did. Well, I did in previous takes that may or may not have lasted. But yeah, look, I'm a real YTer. I've got shit in the background. What was I saying? Well, what was I just? Oh, my voice. Yes. Well, you hear it, don't you? It's not very deep, and the only whenever when I'm doing like a video, it's I guess I could talk like this, but I only do that if I'm doing that. I am in danger. I'm in distress. I'm speaking to some random person outside ordering something, or I'm I'm talking to a random person. That's not how I speak comfortably, because it takes effort to do that, and that's me being a man, and I don't like doing that. It's not how I normally comfortably speak. I have to force my voice down for that, and I guess but like I said before, when I'm feeling down, I do just talk like that. But I am feeling better today, so there's that going for me. So yeah, when you sound the way I do, and when you're not the biggest fish in the pond, you kind of your ego, I think, develops in a way that I guess would I say I have a small ego? No. People, there's this stigma against me that I'm self-centered. I only think about myself. I like to look at myself in the mirror. You put one in front of me and I'm entertained forever. That's not true. I may have said that mirror thing as a joke, but that's not true. Okay, I'm humble. I'm humble, loyal, faithful, clean, good pussy, pray. What's his name? Okay, so I don't think my ego got as big as well, maybe your ego sort of scales with your height. Is that a thing? But I can't say that like it's ever been over for me, because I'm not ugly. So maybe I do have an average ego. I don't know, because I do feel like I am better than a lot of people for the choices that I make. So, but I'm not the best, because no one's the best, and that's what keeps me humble. Because I'm better than others, but I'm not the best. Okay, fine. That's fair, right? Anyways, so I sounding like this, I couldn't be cool, and with the whole sad thing I've got, I couldn't be sociable all the time at all. So being cool was out of the question. What I can do though is I can gesture max. I can be a clown. I can be funny and shit. I hope I'm good at that. Because if not, so that's me. That's my story. But I also want to get a little philosophical today. So so this is going to be a little learning moment. This might be a learning moment. I don't know. A lot of people don't read often, more than they have to. So what we're going to be talking about now is hedonism versus aestheticism, or I don't know how to say that word. It's aesthetic. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. But anyways, I'll put text up. Hedonism is something that you probably will have heard before, and if you're into something like anything vaguely. I was checking the yellow spots on my phone. It's still on its way out. Hedonism is the idea that people are motivated by pleasure and pain. You want to get as much pleasure as possible with the least pain as possible. That's the idea. And asceticism is about renouncing, worldly, material desires and such, to focus on the pleasure within. And I think that the key to being cool is, a synthesis, a mix, if you're stupid, a synthesis of both of those. It's us. What do I mean by that? Okay, and this is why I said I just scratched my balls. It was mid. I've been better. So I'm not doing. I did it again. I can't keep me away. What was that? Oh, what I meant by me being better than other people because of the choices I make is that because I don't cope with cigarettes or vapes or weed or alcohol, I'm a better, more complete person than someone who does. I thug my shit out. I don't take pills, so I'm a better person than someone who does. Just like, anyway, because that's all worldly stuff too, and I don't need it. Even the pills, that's a worldly object, and I think, okay, I'm just gonna skip over that. I'm gonna get to the meat and potatoes of what I think makes someone or someone is or not cool or whatever. What could you tell what I'm doing? You know what to touch this hand. Don't scratch your balls in public. I don't think that makes you cool. You can do it in the video though. It's funny. Especially, it's funny when they can't see it. Like if I were a woman and I guess one camera angle I would have to do is having. Well, I'm assuming my boobs are big, but I'd have them just out of frame at the bottom of the frame, and sometimes I'd pull up a little to tease you, but you'd never see it. And I think that would be a fun bit while talking about something very serious. Someone's probably done that before. They have to. What was his name? Oh. Well, I was saying that just doing things. Everyone knows what isn't cool. What literally gets you hot is being concerned with other people. The lion doesn't concern himself with the opinion of the sheep, etc., etc., etc. And first of all, that's true. You got to be a lion. You got to it's that, and also violence, acceptable violence that makes you a lion. There was a news story about a white guy who killed his family because they weren't accepting of his black girlfriend. That is a lion. He's a lion. Being a lion means being cool. By the way, if you know, a lot of people are slow. So, yes, not concerning yourself. So when you do things like
You cave into trends, and you're mainstream. All right, you're not cool. You're boring. That's the way it works. Okay, you just can't be mainstream. You know, that's a big part of being cool. Is I'm not going to use the N word, not the N word for people like me. I mean the N word for niche. There, I said it. But, alt is cool, but if you're being alt to be alt, you're going off a checklist. Then you're not cool. You just gotta have soul, and that's not something that can be taught. You either have it or you don't. And I'm kidding. It's something you gain from just experimenting. But whether or not you're brave enough to experiment, that's part of being cool. You got to be brave to be cool. So to tie this back to that aestheticism versus hedonism thing, being mainstream in today's society would have you just consuming shit, not really just being happy, I get my DoorDash, I jerk off, et cetera, and that is not cool. Well, it is cool and that it's okay. It's accepted for you to be that way. But it's not cool. And that's where the aestheticism comes in, because you have to do things that because with that hedonism, I think it's a good way to become ignorant and really, because when you just do things for just straight pleasure, and you got to ask yourself, why is this fun? Is this actually fun? Is that a question that ever asks, that occurs to you? Is this fun? And living to be happy, there's nothing wrong with that, but asking yourself, is this necessary for me to be happy? Is this even fun? Is important. And I think people, they don't ask that question. And so when you don't ask questions, you're not cool. Okay, all the cool kids don't want to ask questions because then they would look stupid. It's a thing. Still continues. No one wants to know how something works because that might make them feel ignorant or whatever, or they might have to think about like this. I was gonna go bring up the separation between people and garbage or whatever, and people and their own garbage, but it's time for another day. I hope you get what I mean. I think you gotta live for pleasure. Being cool is about making yourself happy, but making sure that you're making yourself happy. Okay? Are you happy? But you also gotta make me happy, because if you're not cool in me, then you're not really a person, are you? Being cool is tough. You gotta not be mainstream, but also be cool about it. Just don't be a dick.